Hello, welcome to a session on how to identify ragas. A little bit about myself. My name is Chandrasekhar, and I am a software engineer by profession. And to be honest, I am not really extremely well trained, or my ear is not very well trained to recognize swaras or recognize ragas. I can recognize a few ragas, but not really confident. So one of the things I wanted to always do was to be able to recognize a raga. And me being an engineer, I decided to pursue a more algorithmic approach. So today, we're going to be going through the algorithm I use to identify ragas, playing with Raga Surabhi's Raga identification quiz. It's a weekly quiz. It's an excellent place to start if you want to learn how to ragas. They also have theory about different ragas and raga comparisons as well. These are very useful. And so, and then finally, the quizzes are very fun. They do a weekly quiz. So every week they provide three clips, and the answers are here. I have not seen the answers, but we'll be working with question three today because it's an easy one where the swaras are already provided to us. And so it's a little easier than just identifying the raga from an alap. So in this case, we know the swaras, we need to identify the actual sub-swaras, meaning that because Carnatic music or Hindustani music, there are three ras, R1, R2, and R3 ris. There are three ga, G1, G2, G3, and similarly, there are multiple swaras within a swara. So if they said re in their quiz today, it could be one of these three. So our task is to identify which of these possible subswaras are being sung in this clip, and then be able to identify which Melakarta raga, or basically Sampurna ragas, because Melakarta ragas are contain all possible swaras. So there is one R, one Re, one Ga, one Ma, one Da, one Ni. There could be multiple combinations, and that's how the Melakartas are formed. There are 72 Melakartas. And so we're going to identify which Melakarta it is from. And then we're going to use some intuition, knowledge, art, whatever you want to call it, to get to Janya ragas. Janya ragas are basically every Melakarta has its own sub ragas. As you can see here, the Melakarta is a Sampurna raga. And then some Janyas, they might skip certain swaras or have certain patterns. Either skip swaras in both Arohanam and Avrohanam, or in one of them. Or so there could be Anya swaras, meaning some swaras coming from out of the Melakarta itself. So there could be a lot of things going on in a Janya, but we will try to get there and do our best. So it's not a guaranteed algorithm like what every algorithm is expected to do. But this is a little bit of makes it easier. And then towards the end, you have to still use a little bit of knowledge and intuition to be able to get to the final answer. So one thing, through following this process, I was able to be listed in these winners list for back to back a few weeks because I just followed my process, and they were kind of easier weeks, and there were some weeks where it was hard and I could not make it here. But yeah, I can guarantee you that there will be at least a few weeks where you'll be able to crack all of them if you follow the process. So let's get started with listening to this question three.
गप मगरि स निद सरि गप मगरि गपद प मगरि गपद सा निद प द प मगरि स निद सरि ग गप.
Okay, so this to me sounds a little bit like Mohanam, but then there is Ma and Ni uttered. I'm assuming this is Bilahari. This is Bilahari. You have an example is sa ri ga pa da sa ni da pa da pa ma ga ri sa ni da sa. So you can see Ma and Ni uttered here. It sounds a lot like um, Mohanam on the Arohanam on the ascending side, but on the descending side, Ni and Ma are uttered. So let's find out actually. So I have written down the notes of this already. Now our task is to step two is to identify which of the subnotes have been uttered. So for that we need a virtual piano. It's right here. Let's listen to the notes again.
ga pa
Ga, ga. So let's find which of these notes resonates with the ga that was uttered. Let's find which is uttered. It is clearly not a ga because gas are these three notes, ga 1, ga 2, ga 3. And then what we see that's uttered is a ni, actually, technically speaking. But then I already kind of figured this out over my experience through working with Raga Surabhi is that their uh, their shruti is different. So their sa is not the same as a regular piano sa. Their sa starts here in the G. So a regular piano spa is Raga Surabhi sa. So in that, with that in mind, there is one, two, three, four notes of difference between the ga that's uttered and the sa. If you go here, that's one, two, three, four. So that's a ga three. So we will put ga three. We don't need to identify pa, we just need to identify ma. So let's listen to the ma and again figure it out.
ma
Ma, ma, ma. And that's the ma that's uttered. It's a C in or a sa in the regular piano, but that's basically one, two, three, four, five notes away from their sa, Raga Surabhi sa. So that would be one, two, three, four, five. That's a ma one. So let's put ma one. Actually, I just used here ma one. Pa, we don't need to worry about pa because there's only one pa. So let's write pa. Pa is uttered. And then there is da. We need to find which da was uttered in this.
ga pa da
Ga pa da da da. Oh, oh, that's E. But then that's from the sa, it is one, two, three less. So if this is the sa, which is if this piano wraps around, this is sa, it's just next to the ni three. One, two, three. So it's a da two. So it does have an indication that it looks like Bilahari because uh, or like because it's all the white notes and Bilahari is all white notes. We'll learn about more about the Raga Bilahari as we go through this, hopefully.
pa ma ga re ga pa da sa ni da
The Sani. So let's see which ni it is. The Sani. So that is one less than Sa. So that is obviously ni 3. So let's take notes of that. So that's ni 3. And then there is the upper Sa. So that's the list of swaras. So list of swaras. This is step 1. Uh, write down the notes. Step 2 is list of swaras. So step 3 is kind of, it's a little hazy here, but let's try to see Arohanam and Avarohanam. What can be there in the Arohanam and what can be there in the Avarohanam. Arohanam, Avarohanam. In this case, the definition of a note being present in Arohanam is that there can be an ascending into that note. So it's not ascending from that note into a higher note. It's about ascending into that note. So if ga is in the arohanam, it means re ga is a combination you will see in the tune. And if ga is not in the arohanam, you would not ascend into ga. And similarly with avarohanam, you descend into the note if it's present in the avarohanam. So let us see. Pa is present in the arohanam. So let's write down the Arohanam possibilities. So Pa is present because Ga to Pa is transition is allowed. And similarly, Avarohanam, uh, the Ma is present because Pa to Ma transition is allowed here. Similarly, Ga is present. And there is no Ni. So this is Arohanam, this is Avarohanam. So now we will identify which Melakarta this could be possibly coming from. So this is M1. This is some this all the swaras have been exercised. So it's very easy to identify. So M1 is the first note. So if you see this chart here, there are 12 chakras. Chakras are very nice classification. So if you see on the left side, there is M1 always. So in all the left Medakarta ragas, there is only M1. In all the right Medakarta ragas, there is only M2. So we'll only look at the left side. So R2. So if you see on the left side, the top three chakras all contain R1. So we will go look at bottom three chakras, right? These are the only possibilities now. Now let's further go into Ga. So Ga 3. So Ga 3 is only possible in these two chakras. The top, this one contains only Ga 2. Now let's further look at Da. I'm looking at my chart on the board, which is also a very useful chart to do the same thing. You can reach out to me if you want a copy of this chart as well. Yeah, so Da 2. If you see this complete list, R2, G3, M1, D2, N3. And that is R2, G3, M1, D2, N3. So that's Dhira Shankara Bharanam is the Melakataraga. That's number 29. So now the next step would be for me to look at number 29. So within this, we do see Bilahari, right? So that's pretty good. There are a lot of ragas within this, Janya ragas. So it's a hard problem today, but we will get through it. A lot of these ragas listed in this wiki page, a lot of them are not really famous and they're not a part of the list of ragas that are allowed in Ragasurbi. The ragas that only contain Sarigapa Dasa in the Arohanam and Sanidapa Magarisa in the Avrohanam. So that way we'll eliminate some possibilities. So definitely not this because Ni is in the Arohanam. Ma is in the Arohanam, not this. So like this, we will go through the list and see which ones are possible. So Ni Bilahari, definitely. Sanidapa Magarisa. Okay, it's our lucky day today. So my guess is Bilahari because that is the only raga that doesn't have Ma and Ni in the Arohanam and has all the swaras in the Avrohanam. Before we do this, I also actually like to kind of listen to a clip in Bilahari to just to make sure the feel for it, to get a feel for it, just so I'm training myself as I learn how a raga sounds like. Because we just don't want to do this mechanically forever. We want to be able to do this mechanically so that eventually we will get the intuition. So let's listen to the tune again.
गप मगरे स निद सरि गप मगरे गपद मगरे गपद सानि द मगरे सनि द सरि गप.
So kind of remember some basic key tunes with subtunes within that, and let's listen to the signature of Bilahari.
Bilahari.
That part is already sounding very similar to the last section, right?
Gagapa.
Na, 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 na.
Bilahari.
To me, I mean, you don't need to exactly match the signature, but there are a lot of phrases within that which sound exactly similar to this question. So my guess would be Bilahari, and I would have gone for Bilahari in this quiz in question 3. Let's take a look at the answer actually. When you click on this, the answer will be revealed. Sorry, ready? And voila, it's Bilahari. So that's how you identify. This was a very easy example. Things can get a little more complicated, but the general structure of the process is very similar to what I just showed you. And I hope you have good luck identifying all ragas as many as you can. And I'll keep making more videos on more complex approaches or complex questions and ragas.